Shalom Israel, Shalom, Shalom. Brother Nakwam, watchman for Israel, coming back at you with these precepts and another cold cut, giving, of course, all honor and all glory to Yahweh. By Shema Mashiach, Wamalak Bashai. Double honors to the elect elders of the house of David that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting for the second coming of Mashiach, Wamalak Bashai. And a hearty, mighty Shalom to all of the mighty men of the Most High God who are out there in the highways and byways, pushing this truth, magnifying the ministry, presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice, and enduring all things for the elect's sake. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there in the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying, they're fasting, they're studying, they're being diligent and abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the Aquath out there, the sincere sisters out there, holding it down in the households, reverencing their husbands, being submissive and diligent, and moving in the spirit of our righteous foremothers. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to the ancient men, the children, and the elect of Israel scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. And Shabbat Shalom to everybody tuning in live through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Anthony Knox, Yahweh's servant, Yvette McKellar, HPK Ent, T. Sellers, Quadon, Ephraimite Ak, Brother Believe, Nigel Blends, Brother Azariah, Shalom King, Kim Israel, M. Williams 64, and everybody else tuning in and that will tune in, Lord willing. Right, the topic of this cold cut is: are you watching current events and signs of the times? And every day that we dwell in Babylon the Great, we're one day closer to the end of the world. We're one day closer to doomsday. We're one day closer to our deliverance. And with our deliverance, simultaneously comes what? The destruction of our enemies. So that's why it's important to keep watch, because you're looking at how soon you are to be delivered from this hell that we're in, this captivity that we're in, this bondage that we're in, and how much sooner we are to the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, being magnified on the earth, right? So it's important to keep watch, because sometimes in this truth, man, it may seem as though, things aren't happening. It may seem as though things are moving slow, right? It may seem as though life is taking hold on you and putting its damn hands around your throat and choking you out, right? Spirits are trying to get to you and vex you, and financial distress and mental distress, right? You maybe have family distress, but when you keep watch, it puts that fire in you, knowing that, hey, look, things are happening, man. The Most High is touching the earth. We are soon to be out of here, man. Right? That's why it's important to keep watch, because it builds up that hope and that faith and expectation in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Right? This is Zephaniah. I want to get two quick precepts. Zephaniah chapter 3, right? And verse 5. The just Lord is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. So the Most High, he's in the midst thereof, of his people, right? Pursuant to Joel chapter 2 and 27 on down. And the Most High will not do iniquity like the wicked of our people. Our people won't bring judgment to light. Our people are full of sin, revelry, folly, madness, but the Most High is not so. Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light. That's why every day you find out that this person died in a tornado, or this person died in a drive-by, or this young brother got shot by the police. That's a judgment, right? Pursuant to Psalms 125 and 3, and these curses that we dwell under. Every morning you find out that there's some type of move concerning NATO, Russia, China, Taiwan, North Korea, Japan, France, concerning World War III. Every morning you wake up and there's something happening. Now you can say, well, I didn't see nothing happen this morning. Well, if you didn't see nothing happen this morning, you know what that means? That just means you aren't watching, right? Because every morning something is going down, right? It reads, he faileth not. So again, you can't say, well, I didn't think that nothing was happening. Again, if that's your mentality, or if you utter those words out of your mouth, it means that you are falling asleep. Because the Most High faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 7, right? And I want verse 43. I'll start at 42, right? 2nd Ezra chapter 7 and 42. He answered me and said, this present life is not the end, where much glory doth abide. Therefore have they prayed for the weak. And a lot of people think that this present life is where you get your glory. The Most High said, this is not the end where much glory doth abide. This is not your rest. This is not the place for you to prosper. You weren't sent here to be a millionaire. You weren't sent here to be a Forbes top 500 entrepreneur. You weren't sent here to make it, man, and have generational wealth and generational prosperity in the land that's not yours. You weren't sent here to be the fanciest brother with the mightiest clothes, fanciest car, right? You wasn't sent here to live a life of luxury. The Most High said this present life is not the end where much glory doth abide. Therefore have they prayed for the weak, right? But the day of doom shall be the end of this time, and the beginning of immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past. So we're all looking for the day of doom. Now, that's not only your forecast. You watch these forecasts, 10-day forecasts, 5-day forecasts, right? You watch these forecasters that deal with the stock market, right? These political scientists and these men that forecast the stocks, the banking industry that forecast the global market. They don't forecast the day of doom, right? And the day of doom that they may talk about is a financial stock market collapse or whatever, but they're not talking about the earth being destroyed by Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. When I say the earth, I'm speaking about the inhabitants of the earth that transgress against the laws and the statutes and the commandments of the Most High. That's the day of doom. That's what we're looking forward to, man. So all of the events that we see as we watch and analyze what the Most High is doing on the earth, it builds up our faith, knowing that the day of doom draws nigh. Because that's the end of this time, meaning this age, this world, the present evil world, and the beginning of immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past. Intemperancy is at an end, and fidelity is cut off. Righteousness is grown, and truth is sprung up. So you have many events going on the earth that are signs to show that Yahweh Shai is making his return soon, right? Let's go to the book of St. Mark, right? Chapter 13, and I want to start at verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives over against the temple, Peter and James and John and Andrew asked him privately, and these were the top apostles, right? Peter, James, John, Andrew up next. All right, you had Nathaniel, you had Philip, you had all these men. Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign when all these things shall be fulfilled? So there are signs that Yahweh Shai would display or show, whether they're judgments or invasions or seditions. These are things that will happen prior to the return of Yahweh Shai. Now, one of the events that you see going on the earth, let's see where I want to start, because there's a good amount that I want to get into. First and foremost, with today being so-called June 1st, today is a proclamation. Now, I have to kind of use my words wisely, knowing that this algorithm and how these devils operate, man. I'll use the word sodomite, freakism, right? And whatever else comes to mind through the spirit. So this is a and if you want to read, what I'm going to just read the screen, right? Let me make sure the screen is showing. Okay, good. All right. So it says a proclamation on sodomites, transformers, and freaks, right? For Pride Month 2024. Now, what is a proclamation? When you shout something forth, pro meaning for, clamation goes back to the Latin word clamere, which means to shout. It's a Latin infinitive, which means to shout. So a proclamation means that you're shouting this and you're making it public. Proclamations aren't done in secret. They're not done when you look in the mirror. They're done to an audience, a crowd of people, a mass of people, right? So this is a proclamation. They're shouting forth, and their pride that all manner of sodomites, men that deal with men, women that deal with women, Men that, men that deal with beasts, all of this. This is the month for you to take glory in your sin. That's what they're saying. This is the month for you to take glory. All of June is going to be just outright madness. Right? Now, it reads, during Pride Month, we celebrate the extraordinary courage and contributions of the Sodomite community, or we'll say the alphabet community, our brothers say. We reflect on the progress we have made so far in pursuit of equality. It's just hypocrisy, man. You can't even read this without just being vexed. Equality, justice, and inclusion. We recommit ourselves to do more to support the alphabet rights at home and around the world. Now, what did the Most High say about this thing, man? Right? This is one of the events that are happening on the earth. And this month, I believe at one time they just had a day, but now they have a month, right? They might get a year, man. You know, now they have their own communities. They have their own neighborhoods. They have their own laws. This is Sirach chapter 10 and verse 7. Pride is hateful before the Most High and man, and by both doeth the one commit iniquity. So pride is hateful, man. You don't have a month set up for somebody to be proud. And again, you can be proud and have an egotistical manner. You can be proud in a fashion of you don't take rebuke because you feel as though you are God. And you can be proud, glorying in your iniquity. And that's what this whole month is about. It's, hey, look, I'm a sinner. I know that it's off. I'm being wicked. Hey, but I'm going to do what I feel is right in my heart, and I'm going to glory in it, in spite of what the Most High said. Right? I'm going to jump down to verse 13. For pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abomination. And therefore the Lord brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them suddenly or utterly. So pride is the beginning of sin. And the Lord said, he that hath it shall pour out abomination. Now, if you look up, let's see this, Pride Month. Let's go so-called last year, 2023. And I'm a little bit reluctant to click on the images. You see that? So this is pouring out an abomination. Taking a rainbow that has nothing to do with Sodomites or freakism. It's a covenant that the Most High made with all flesh, that he wouldn't destroy the earth by a flood of water anymore. Right? But this is pouring out an abomination, man. You got dykes out there. Look at this. It's all, look at this. Love me tender, love me. So this is off. Where is this at in the scriptures, man? Where you could just willfully, look, you got, that look like Northern Kingdom out there. You got Northern Kingdom, Jake's, look at this. So this is pouring out an abomination. Last year they had the flag raising day, Park Pride Day, Youth Pride. The Youth Pride, those are little kids, 5 years old. You know, I'm 4 years old. I identify as a, you know what, okay, I'm 2. Or my child identifies as this. They had the Pride Night at Big Train, right? Oh, let me get out of there for something. So they had Pride Night at Big Train, Pride in the Plaza, Rockville Pride. I pulled up the festivals of 2024. So in your city, if you live in a major city, expect to see the effects of this going on this month. It's going to be all month, non-stop. The Most High said it's hateful, and you pour out abominations. All right, let's go to the book of 2 Peter. And you can say, well, how do I know that these are the signs of the end of the world? Well, what did the Lord say in Matthew 24? Right? I'm going to get 2 quick precepts. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 13. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So one of the signs of the end of the world is sin abounding, meaning increasing like a flood. What men have, there's no limits on what man is capable of. Man has no more discretion. There's no more, I'm hiding. I don't want nobody to know. I'm kind of on the low. No, everybody and anybody is an open sodomite or creep or freak. And iniquity, and it's going to get worse, man. Because now they have the maps. All right, let's pull this up. That's an acronym for minor attracted persons. And they have their own flag too. There is a growing recognition that many adults, really is Edomites, right, with sexual attraction for children are motivated not to cause harm. So this society has to be destroyed. You're living in the end of the world. For them to put this out there, they are motivated not to cause harm. How are you motivated not to cause harm? That's just that shows you that's just hypocrisy. Referred to as minor attracted persons or maps. So it might be a map walking around. You might be out with your son, your daughter, You got one of these maps, they walk up and they ask, can I get your number, man? Now you can get mad, but guess what? They're maps and you can't really do nothing about it. Now you can say, well, I'll do something about it. I'll do this, I'll do that. Hey, these maps, man, hey, they got the police on their side. They got the so-and-so. Now you can say, look, guess what? I don't care about that. But guess what, man? You're going to be behind bars a long time. So the maps are the new big things on the earth. These individuals have not committed sexual offenses, and the primary goal is to provide support to help them remain free of offending. You know how you help them remain free of offending? In the ancient world, you would stone them. You would kill them. That's how you help them remain free of offending. You free them from the flesh and send them back to the spirit world, right? So now you have maps on the earth. So now they call them pedophile or hebephile, right? And I've never heard of a hebephile before, right? Let me pull that up, right? This is, see, iniquity shall abound. Look at this. So they're this must be a new word. This must be something new on the earth. Look at this. This is wickedness. The term hebephilia, has been proposed to denote the erotic preference for pubescent children, roughly ages 11 or 12 through 14, but it has not become widely used. So they're trying to push all these spirits out there. Hebephiles. And then you got ephebophilia, right? So what the so-called white man does is he takes his verbiage and his psychology and psychiatry to take you away from the spiritual things. So what you call pedophilia, mania, schizophrenia, all these so-called mental disorders, bipolar, multiple personality disorder, these are nothing but demons. All these words, they're just fancy words for saying that they have demons on them. Now, if you say these guys got demons on them, people are going to judge this matter a lot differently. When you throw all of these terms out there, people are going to be prone to accept it because you accept the so-called white man's literature and its academics. It reads, usually the age of 15 through 19. Adults with this attraction are called ephebophiles. So you got ephebophiles, you got hebephilia, you got pedophilia, you got maps, right? There's so many demons out here on the earth. But the Lord said, hey, that iniquity shall abound, and the love of many shall wax cold. The Lord also said in the book of Luke, right, the 17th chapter, Salaki, bear with me. Right, this is Luke chapter 17 and verse, I'll start at 28. Likewise also, as it was in the days of Lot, They did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they builded. So in the days of Lot, where did Lot live? Lot lived in Sodom, right? He lived in ancient Sodom. Now, Sodom was one of 5 cities where you had rampant sodomy, for lack of better terms. That's where you get the term from. If you look up the 5 cities, Sodom, Atma, Zoar, right? Let's pull this up. Biblical map, right? So this is a map of Sodom, right? And you want to kind of be careful because most of them should be around the Dead Sea. So they have this circle right here on where they were. And most scholars would agree. Some you may see a question mark, but these were these 5 cities, right? Let's see if I get a better map. All right, so here they were around what you call the Dead Sea. These were ancient cities where Africans lived, the Canaanites, if you can understand. And the men that lived there were called Sodomites. The men that lived here were called Gomorrahites, right? But the term is essentially applied to anybody that practices sodomy, which is an actual crime by law. So let me read this real quick. And you live in Sodom. Babylon the Great is modern day Sodom. Is it not written in Revelation, the 11th chapter? I'm going to hold Luke, right? And I want to go to Revelation chapter 11. It's lucky in verse 8, right? Revelation chapter 11 and 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of that great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. So this place is spiritually called Sodom because it moves in the same spirit as Sodom. Now, demons are spirits, evil angels, they are spirits. So those spirits that dwelt in Sodom, when Sodom was destroyed by Yahweh, by Shemi Awashad, did you think those demons were destroyed? No. Those demons, they don't get destroyed by thermonuclear destruction. So like they don't get destroyed by fire. They are fire, right? When you read Psalms chapter 104. So those demons, they seek through dry places, seeking rest till they find none. Those demons, they have found their rest. And they dwell in Babylon the Great. So the spirit of Babylon the Great is that of Sodom. Why? Because those exact same spirits of lust, fornication, which are nothing but demons, right? The spirits of concupiscence, lasciviousness, licentiousness, all of those spirits are back here in America. So by default, it's spiritually called Sodom because those same spirits of Sodom are here and they're inside these people. So they're going to move with that same behavior and make those same decisions and move in that same blasphemous spirit as they did well over 4,000 years ago. Now, when you go back to, what did I want to go to? Luke 17, right? Luke 17. And I want to go to Genesis 19 as well, right? Luke 17 and verse 29. But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all. So back on his map with Sodom and Gomorrah, it says Sodom, one of the 5 cities, this is from BibleAtlas.org, one of the 5 cities of the plain. Let me kind of zoom in a little bit, which destroyed by fire from heaven in the time of Abraham and Lot. The wickedness of the city became proverbial. The sin of sodomy was an offense against nature, frequently connected with idolatrous practices, right? The fate of Sodom and Gomorrah is used as a warning to those who reject the gospel. The word is used in a typical sense in Revelation 11 and 8. Sodom was probably located in plain south of the Dead Sea, now covered with water. The name is still preserved in Jebel Usdom, which means Mount Sodom. So you can't say Sodom and Gomorrah didn't exist, right? Because you have Mount Sodom, to this day. And these were actually 5 cities that moved. Where's that at? That moved in this exact same spirit. Where's this at? This proclamation. They moved in this exact same spirit, man. June, you're going to see more freakism that you've ever seen before. You're going to see it in the workplace. You're going to see more rainbows. A man might try to come on to you, man. You know, you might be walking with your family, and one of these sodomites might start kind of, looking at you, man. And you're gonna have to make a decision, man. Are you going to stay in the spirit? So this is going to be madness, man. You might be driving a sedan, they blocked out because and people are getting more and more bold, man. Where a lot of these people are getting bold and bold and bold, man. And they're doing more and more outlandish things, right? So like you bear with me. So a lot of this behavior, that they're doing, man, it's getting out of hand. You might be a sister. It might be a damn sister, try to make a move on you, man, because these people really feeling themselves. Your boss, he might knock at your door, man, or pull up on you, man, and kind of say things to you. A lot of these people, they're on the down low. They have secret thoughts of lust and madness, and all of that is just going to come all out. And this whole month is going to be nothing but demonic spirits. Let's go to Genesis real quick, chapter 14, right? So you're living in the days of Lot. This is Genesis chapter 14 and verse 1. And it came to pass in the days of Amraphel, king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elasar, Kedolamar, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of nations. These made war with Bera, king of Sodom, and with Bersha, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Admah, and Shemeber, king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, which is Zoar. So these are the 5 cities. If you want to know the 5 cities, go back and read Genesis chapter 14. Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, Slakia, Zeboim, and Zoar. These are the 5 cities that were destroyed by Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua. Now, all of these cities moved in the same fashion. It wasn't just Sodom and Gomorrah. Admah was moving like that, right? Zeboim moved in that same spirit. Let's go to Genesis. Let's go to the previous chapter. This is Genesis chapter 13 and verse, this whole thing is good, man. Verse 10. Now, remember, Abraham and Lot, they were wealthy. They in today's society, they would have been millionaires, if not billionaires. They possessed cattle, slaves, tents, many things, right? So their herdmen began to strive one amongst another, right? It reads, this Genesis chapter 9, 13 and 9. It's not the whole land before thee. This Abraham speaking. Separate thyself, I pray thee, from me. If thou wilt take the left hand, then I will go to the right. Or if thou depart to the right hand, then I will go to the left. So Abraham deferred and gave Lot the decision on where he wanted to move. Because Abraham knew in the spirit, wherever he moved, it was going to be according to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua. So he let him make his decision. Abraham was going to wait on the Most High. And he knew he would be protected. So he wasn't lusting to try to do things on his own, right? He waited and resorted on the Lord. Lot didn't move in that same spirit. Lot had more of a covetous, a carnal attitude compared to that of Abraham, right? And he chased what his eyes saw. And Lot, it got him in a situation, man. We're going to read that. It got him following the lust of your eyes, and wantonness is going to get you in a situation, and you tempting the Most High. Verse 10, and Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere, before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the garden of Yahweh, like the land of Egypt, as thou comest unto Zoar. So he lifted up his eyes, and he saw a land that was good for his cattle and for his people. Verse 11, then Lot chose him all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves the one from the other. Abram dwelt in the land of Canaan, because that was the land the Most High told him to dwell in. Now look at Lot. And Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain and pitched his tent towards Sodom. Now, this was a bad decision right here. That lust, it's not that bad. I'll be all right. Go ahead and pitch your tent towards Sodom. That's like you finding a nice house, right? Let's say, your mortgage is $40 a month. You'll think it's a steal, man. Unbelievable. $40 a month, or rent $100 a month. Let's say you got a 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom, big backyard, all of that, but you're sandwiched in between a strip club on your left, one of the biggest strip clubs in the city, and right next to that is a weed dispensary, and right next to that is a church and a liquor store. Now you got to make a decision. Am I going to buy that house or rent out that house? You might say, man, look at that backyard. 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, got a fence. I got this, I got that. But you have a whole strip club next to you, a weed dispensary, a liquor store, a church. There's all types of, and behind you is a mosque. So you're tempting the Most High, because you may dwell in that house, but you're going to be influenced by those spirits around you. So you're going to be slowly, it may not be immediate, but slowly but surely, you're going to end up in that strip club. You might end up in that church. You might end up in that weed dispensary. You might end up in that mosque. And it may not be within a week or 2 weeks, but give it time. So Lot, he pitched his tent towards Sodom. Now, when you read Genesis 19, like we always bring out, he ended up living in Sodom. And that's what happens, man. You pitch your tent, and your tent on a spiritual level is your body. These are tents. Tents are temporary dwelling places for our spirits that are easily susceptible to the elements. We could be blown away. We could be killed. We could just give up the ghost. We could be burnt. We dwell in temporary carnal bodies. If you pitch your tent towards sin, you're going to deal with sin, right? So he pitched his tent towards Sodom. But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before Yahweh exceedingly. So these were wicked men. So in Genesis 19, he didn't just pitch his tent towards Sodom, he lived in Sodom. Genesis 9, and right now we live in Sodom. And there came 2 angels. This Genesis 19:1. And there came 2 angels to Sodom at even. And Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them. And he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. So what the hell is Lot doing sitting in the gate of Sodom? Who sat in the gate? The top men. Not just, low lifes, reprobates. Not just carnal men, fools, wise men, elders, judges, chief men, men of renown. They sat in the gate. So Lot was up there in Sodom, huh? He didn't just pitch his tent towards Sodom and live in Sodom. He was a somebody. And he was a big deal, huh? And the Lord said, wisdom openeth not her mouth in the gate. Or a fool, Slakia, openeth not his mouth, huh? Proverbs 24:7. Wisdom is too high for a fool. He openeth not his mouth in the gate, because only the wise men sat in the gates. Only the top men. Right? Let's go to Ruth. Only the top men sat in the gate. Ruth 4:1. Then went Boaz up to the gate. That was the entrance of the city. And sat him down there. And behold, the kinsman of whom Boaz spake came by, unto whom he said, ho, such a one, turn aside, sit down here. And he turned aside and sat down. And he took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, sit ye down here. And he sat down. So this man had a lot of respect in the community, right? But the point is, you had elders that sat in the gate. Boaz, he was known in the gate. Lot, he himself, he sat in the gate of Sodom. Let me read on. In verse 2. I'm not going to read this whole chapter, but it reads, and he said, behold, now my lords turn in. I pray you into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and you shall rise up early and go on your ways. And he said, nay, but we will abide in the street all night. Now these angels were sent out to gather intel. They were sent on a recon mission. The CIA, certain FBI agents, undercover agents, ATF, whatever. They're sent on recon. So their job is to gather intel. They ask people questions, they kind of observe, they take notes, and they bring a report back. So they were sent out to kind of scope out and see what was going on in Sodom. Right? Now, very well, there could be angels here in America right now gathering the intel about what's going on, man. You know, so during this Pride Month, you may have angels out there. You may not know that they're angels, but they're abiding in the streets. They're watching and seeing what's going on. And they're going to bring the report back to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. That's what the angels do. They record things, the works of men, and they bring it back to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Verse 3. And he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him and entered into his house. And he made them a feast and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. So unleavened bread is not just for the Passover. We were always and already making unleavened bread. Verse 4. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. So you had maps out there. You had young men out there, the youth, and they all surrounded Lot's house. Let's see what they wanted. And they called unto Lot and said unto him, where are the men which came in to thee this night? Bring them out unto us that we may know them. And this is wicked. This is one of the most wicked statements in the entire Bible. One of the most wicked requests. One of the most wicked questions, man. Where are those two men at? They look good. Bring us out. We want to pop them. That's what they said, man. You want to have sex with the angels of God. Those men, those tall men with them beards, that big woolly hair. Where's those handsome men at? And this wasn't just one. It says everybody. So what does that mean? It means word got out that it was two so-called handsome men that was in the city. And the word spread. Did you see those guys? Yeah, I saw them. Did you see them? Damn, yeah, I ain't never seen no men like that. Right? What do you say, son? Yeah, Paul, I ain't never seen no grown men like that. Come on, son. Because you had the youth out there. So this was just outright, we see wickedness now. But this was just on a bold level. The youth was out there. They said, bring those men out. We want to pop them. And it's not that bad here in Babylon the Great, man. Right? When you got a man, your brother might come over or something, and then you got men knocking on your door. They got that's that police knock. They don't do right? We all know the damn cop police knock, man. Bring those men out. We want to pop them. Verse 6. And Lot went out at the door to them and shut the door after him. So he's defending the angels and said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. So this month, which is a proclamation of freakism and sodomy, is doing wickedly. Right? Let me read. I'm not going to read this whole thing. Lot said, do not so wickedly. For generations, the alphabet plus Americans, so they're not Americans, have summoned the courage to live authentically and proudly, even though Lot said, do not so wickedly. even when it meant putting their lives and livelihoods at risk, right? They're courageous, they're heroes, they're bold, they inspire. Let me jump down. Since then, the courageous alphabet plus Americans continue to inspire and bring hope to all people seeking a life true to who they are. Alphabet people also continue to enrich every aspect of American life as educators. So they're your teachers. The teacher that's teaching your son that's 8 years old, he's checking him out. Now you can say, well, not that teacher. I talked to him. Okay, well, you don't know what's in his thoughts, man. And this teacher probably go home and touch yourself thinking about your son, man. Even these women, man. They be looking at your daughter or they might be looking at your son. So these are your educators. For some reason, your son always has to stay. All of the class get dismissed, and your son always has to stay back because he has to be scolded or he has extra work or he's going to talk to him. But he's really getting off on him as he talks to him. You know? Then after he's done talking to your 8-year-old son, he tells your 8-year-old son to leave, then he just gets off because he's been checking him out, man. So this schools, and then these schools, they got to teach back in the day, they had what you had the sex ed class, and you had to learn the ins and outs. So now they teaching men how to deal with men, right, in the school system, and they're teaching women how to deal with women, right? So these are your educators. They're your entertainers, and we know that, man. All these people in the industry, they're all your rappers, your celebrities, your actors, your comedians, right? Your athletes. They are all have been freaked out. Now you can say, well, not my favorite athlete. And well, guess what? In order to make it in this man's society, you have to compromise your integrity and do things for the rich elites. You understand? That you may obtain success and money and notoriety. Entrepreneurs, your Jeff Bezos, right? Your Steve Jobs that gave up the ghost, your Dr. Dre's, your Jay-Z's, your Ice Cubes. And they have to do things. Athletes, actors, artists, scientists, scholars, diplomats, doctors, service members. Those are your firefighters, your healthcare, right? Veterans, and so much more. So we got to get out of here, man. Because the people that are supposed to help you allegedly in this society, right? And put out the house, your fire, got a house fire, or your cat got stuck in a tree, or the police came, somebody broke in your neighborhood. They might make an advance on you, right? Hey, this society is wicked, man. Now listen to the next part. I'm gonna read one more. I mean, this whole thing is vile. Advancing equality for the alphabet community is a top priority for my administration. So you Negroes, man, that are waiting on reparations, you're not a top priority. That water in Flint, Michigan, that's been 10 years or so without clean water, it's not a top priority. The what do they call that? The trank epidemic in Philadelphia, the dope, the perks, the K2, the guns in the neighborhood, the crime rate, the homicide in the inner city communities, the industrial prison complex and brothers being locked up unjustly, the mass murders by the police department and injustice, the lynchings that's been going on, the multitude of children, the millions of children that have ran up missing. This is so of all things, you just had massive list of celebrities being exposed on an island, popping little children and freaking off with them. You don't want to bring them into justice. This society's top priority is promoting more and more sodomy. That's the number one thing in their mind. How can I get more men to love more men? More women to molest little women and children? What more can we do? So in the cartoons, you got to be careful with your children watching, man. You might think your children, and we grew up or my age, we didn't have that. Now we had, things here and there, but it wasn't like it is now, man. And a lot of stuff was kind of subtle. You had to kind of be an adult to kind of know what was going on in the stuff we kind of grew up watching, man. But nowadays, they're reinventing a lot of these cartoons, man, that we grew up watching. And they're putting a sodomite spin on it. Right? So you might say, oh man, they revived this cartoon or this TV show. Right? I want my son, my daughter, whatever, they can watch that. Now, next thing you know, man, it's two men damn near popping each other on it. Two women doing God knows what. So they're putting in the TVs, they're putting in the cartoons, it's in the education system, it's all over the churches. So they're looking for more and more that they can do. I signed the historic respect. Some of this stuff I could barely read, man, because it's just outright madness. I signed the Historic Respect for Marriage Act, which protects marriage of same-sex and interracial couples. As commander-in-chief, meaning you're a military guy, right? And this is your top priority. I was proud, he's off, to have ended the ban on transforming Americans serving in the United States military. Yeah, because you have, pull this up. Right, let me pull this up real quick. I believe some of their top men. Look at this guy, look at this guy. So he's going to stop the Russians. Now, if your son is in the military, he might be his commander. He's going to stop the ICBM missiles. He's going to stop the Moabite man, the wild Arab man. Do you trust him to defend this country, man? And the livelihood of the American citizens? And the sovereignty of the American empire? He is the go-to guy. He is a leader of the people. Right? He is an absolute king in the eyes of the Americans. Jones. Look at this hair. Look at this hair. Look at this. Look at this guy, man. Look at this guy. This place is finished, man. This place is finished. All right. I want to move on. I want to go to the next current event. But let me pull this up real quick. This is Nahum, right? Chapter 3. And I'm going to start at verse 13. Behold, thy people, this is speaking about Babylon, the great America, but parabolically, Nahum is speaking about Assyria, because America is Assyria, right? America is Rome. America is Greece back on earth. They are ancient Babylon. They have the spirit of the Persians and the Medes, all put together as one, right? So Nahum 3 and 13. Behold, thy people in the midst of thee are women. The gates of thy land shall be set wide open, like a woman that's wide open. Unto thine enemies, the fire shall devour thy bars. So that's some graphic talk if you got ears to hear. All of the men, they're women now. They're effeminate. They're soft. And the Lord said, just sit. Your kingdom is like a woman where her legs wide open for your enemy to come in and break down your walls. So that, hey, the Most High get down, man, and devour your bars. And there's nothing that you're going to be able to do about it. Thy people in the midst of thee are women. So Jones, where's Jones at? Look at Jones. Right? Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. See this? This is madness. This is absolute madness. He went from being an admiral, a classical white man, and now look at him. Susan. Right? He went from Sean to Susan overnight. Look at this one. What is this? Right? And these are top men. He's a 4-star officer. Rachel. And Rachel's calling the shots, man. A 4-star. Look at this one. Oh, boy, this place is done. This is done. Why do transforming people join the military in such high numbers? So again, this kingdom is finished. You think they're going to fight the Russians right now? They're fighting a bear in the middle of the ocean on one block of ice, right? In Siberia. The Russians right now, they're aiming to shoot to kill. They have a bottle of vodka in one hand and a damn AK-47 in another hand, man. In the ice, in the elements, and your local sergeant has now become a local sodomite. Look at this. Right? So again, let's go to 2 Peter chapter 2. Right? Let's go to 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 6. It reads, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after shall live ungodly. Meaning what? If you live your life like they lived in ancient Sodom and ancient Gomorrah, you're going to receive the same judgment as they did. You can't act as if Sodom and Gomorrah wasn't destroyed, as if the Most High didn't send the chariots to rain down the destruction, man. As if Lot barely escaped. The whole city in the plain was overthrown. That's an example to Babylon the Great. Now, guess what, man? You Americans, you Babylonians, you're supposed to be the most wise men. And it tells you in Ezekiel, the 28th chapter, that there is no slakia, that there is no secret that they can hide from thee. Ezekiel chapter 28 and verse 3. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. Which means what? His archaeologist, his scientist, his people that study societies and historians. All of these men, they know about the ancient Greeks. They know about the ancient Sumerians. They know about the Chaldees. You don't think they know about the Sodomites? You don't think they read the scriptures? You think they're completely oblivious? They know what happened. They send men to the Dead Sea, and they collect the soil, and they put it in the bag, and they take it, and they go to a laboratory, and they put it under a petri dish. They look at it under a microscope. They test it with all types of things, and they sulfites, and they find out that soil, you can look this stuff up on your own, contains the highest level of sulfur on the earth. And they're saying the concentration of sulfur in Sodom and Gomorrah is something that cannot be from the earth. There's no place on the earth that contains the amount of sulfur, because that's the elements inside of destruction that came from Yahweh Bashmi Abashah. There's no place like that on the earth, right? Let me pull that up real quick. So they know that. It's not a secret. Let me see if I can pull this up. Sulfur and Sodom, right? So they know this, man. Right? Let's see. I'm not going to pull this whole thing up. Let's see. I may go to it. Well, you can watch the videos on your own, right? They went out and they found out that there were sulfur balls found in Sodom, right? Proof the Most High is real, right? Because you can't find that any place on the earth. See if they got it on this. So look, they sent men down there. They know what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah. So it's an example to those that after should live ungodly. Look at all of the Edomites. They have the brushes. They have secret laboratories off-site. They have per diem and room and board and all things and expenses paid. But their only mission is to gather intel about the elements and the chemicals of Sodom and Gomorrah, pottery, artifacts, bones, skeletons. You understand? And determine what kind of people these were, how they lived, their height, their weight, their depth, their culture, and how was this place actually destroyed by God. They paid these men to do this. These men ain't working for free. They are not working for free. Now, let me see if they got this in here. Now, they say it rains sulfur. It doesn't actually say sulfur, right? Like I said, I may be able to pull it up. I didn't plan on going deep into that concept, right? But you could kind of look that up on your own, right? Let's see if they got that. See if they got it right here. Okay, now check this out. There is ample, now this is from christiananswers.net. There is ample evidence of subterranean deposits of petroleum-based substance called bitumen, similar to asphalt, in the region south of the Dead Sea. Now, what's south of the Dead Sea? Sodom. Such material normally contains a high percentage of sulfur. It has been postulated by geologist Frederick Clapp that pressure from an earthquake could have caused the bitumen deposits to be forced out of the earth through a fault line. As it gushed out of the earth, it could have been ignited by a spark or a surface fire, would have then fall to the earth as burning fiery mass. So he winged that one. But the point is, the fire came and fell to the earth. The fire that fell to the earth had a high percentage of sulfur, right? So this wasn't a volcano that destroyed it. The Most High destroyed it. It's proof that Yahweh Bashmi Abishai has done something that is abnormal, that is not commonly found in nature. And that's why the scripture says what? Verse 2 Peter 2 and 6. And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an ensample unto those that after should live ungodly. So if you live your life like Sodom and Gomorrah, you're going to receive the same judgment. 2 Peter 2 and 7. And delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. Now, what do you think Lot heard, man? There was no talk of sports, right? It wasn't no talk of, women, and look at that. There was no cat calling sisters. There was no talk of nothing but just man. Wow, check that man out. Damn, I gotta see, gotta see what that's about. Oh, look at that man. Right? And people probably made advances on Lot, man. Lot knew what was going on. He probably gave Lot that look. He probably had men with, crop tops on and makeup. And these are Africans, man. And they already nasty and tall with tar paper, sandpaper, shark skin. That dull, just vile complexion with no glow and no salt. Neck rings, lip disc, cuts all in the flesh, walking around naked. A Lot had to deal with that, man. He was hot. He was vexed. We're vexed, man. Verse 8. For that right, the plantation I got sold to, they already start putting the flags up, man. They got the flags up over here. They got the flags up. Hey, let them put a flag in my area, man. There's going to be a problem. Right? Hey, look, well, what happened to your flag? They're going to come to me and say, what happened to you? Look, hey, guess what, man? I don't know. I will get you another one. Okay, no, I'm all right. Right? So, hey, look, we're not moving like that, man. You sure you don't want a flag? Think about it. Ain't nothing to think about. I'm not going to say it like that, but hey, I'm going to have to say what I have to say. Because they start putting this stuff up all around the spot, man. Are you sure? Are you coming to the parade? And look, man, and I'll say things, right? And wisdom, most High willing. But hey, but we're vexed, man. When we got to deal with this at the workplace, we got to deal with this in the world. Verse 8, for that righteous man dwelling among them and seeing and hearing vex his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. Right? So this was an everyday affair. The Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations and reserve the unjust until the day of judgment to be punished. And most High willing, we are the godly that are going to be delivered from temptations, right? Because his number one agenda, what did he say? Bear with me. His number one priority, right? Advancing equality for the alphabet community is a top priority for my administration. As commander-in-chief, I was proud to have ended and these men have no fear of God. They have no fear of Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua. Now, I thought America was a God-fearing country. I thought in 1983, they had the year of the Bible. Right? I thought the president proclaimed 1983 as the year of the Bible. In the United States, 1983 was designated as the National Year of the Bible by President Ronald Reagan by Proclamation 5018, made in February 3rd, 1983 at the annual National Prayer Breakfast. So how do you go from the year of the Bible, and this is the same year that crack was at an all-time high in LA, Chicago, Detroit. He was pushing crack for your grandmother, your mother, your auntie, and your uncle. And at that same time, it was the year of the Bible, because that's what they push. Now, he said, as commander-in-chief, I was proud to have ended the ban on transformers serving in the military. I signed executive orders strengthening the civil rights protection for housing, employment, healthcare, education, and the justice system. So you Negroes, you don't get nothing. If you thought that this society loved you, where's executive order strengthening your communities? Cleaning up all of the piss, all of the trash, all of the needles. Where's the executive orders for your employment? When your father can't find a job, or your mother, she's working 3 jobs. Where's your health care? Where's your education? The latest textbooks, right? The latest school supplies, man. What about the justice system for you? So if you believe that this society is for you, then you're just absolutely lost. Like the Lord said in Hosea, let me get a quick precept. So they show you that they don't care about you, man. They don't care about you Negroes in this society. Hosea chapter 13 and 9. O Israel, thou hast destroyed thyself, but in me is thine hope. I will be thy king. Where is any other that may save thee in all thy cities? Because they're not looking to save you. The Most High said, where is any other? Because obviously, it can't be any other. They're going to strengthen the sodomites and pedophiles and child molesters and give them clean water and fix up their roads and build up houses. Hey, Baltimore, man, nothing. Detroit, those are the main 2 cities, to and fro. But out here is nothing but abandoned houses, dilapidated houses. Look like a bomb hit both cities. Piss, crack, weed, dope, violence, niggas, dirt bikes, gunshots, homicide, madness, sodomites, dykes, wicked children, freakism. It's just outright lewdness. They ain't doing nothing for you Negroes out here, man. Or you Hispanics and Native Americans. The Lord said, I will be thy king. Where is any other that may save thee in all thy cities? And thy judges, of whom thou said, Give me a king and princes. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 15 and verse 5. Jeremiah 15 and 5. For who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem? Or who shall bemoan thee, or who shall go aside to ask how thou doest? So none of these nations, they're not checking on you. I've never seen a fleet of Moabites get off a bus and just start cleaning up the hood. I've never seen a fleet of Arabs get off their camels, say, okay, look, we're going to pack up all of the delis, all of the bodegas, all of the gas stations, all of the liquor stores, all of the damn corner stores, and we're going to pack all up we're going to take out all of the black and milds, all of the relos, all of the papers, all of the damn. I mean, it's all types of stuff they sell you there, man. And I got on an Elamite, man, one time, man. I had to go to the gas station, I had to kind of get things. And I start, I see it all the time, but I asked him, man. I asked him questions about, why are you selling this? I said, do your people indulge in these things that you're selling? Right? He kind of said what he said, and I said what I said, man. And he was mad. But guess what, man? All these kingdoms are full of hypocrisy. The Lord said they don't care about you. They don't ask how you're doing. He's going to strengthen Sodomites over the children of God. The Lord said, all thine lovers have forgotten me, man. Right? So let me read a little bit more and I'm going to move on. We are also combating the dangerous and cruel practice of so-called conversion therapy and implementing a national strategy to end the HIV epidemic in this country. So this is just full of hypocrisy. You're promoting sodomy, but you also want to end the HIV epidemic. And who's the face of the HIV epidemic? Because when I'm in these cities, on the back of buses, billboards, on park benches, and they want to promote talk about HIV, who's always the face of it? Two so-called black men, right? Two so-called black men. That used to be an Edomite disease. Only Edomites had AIDS and HIV, and you know what I'm saying, in the 70s and the 80s. So all of a sudden, Jake, you became the face of AIDS and HIV. So this is madness. Oh man, look at this next sentence, man. I didn't read this before. Look at this. We ended the disgraceful practice of banning sodomite and freaky men from donating blood. Yeah, if you need blood, guess what, man? It might have been a sodomite who said, yeah, I'll give my blood up, right? And they let him stick his needles up, all his filthy, nasty blood, and they put it in a bag and they injected it in your blood. Now, I've never had a blood transfusion, never had needed blood. Most are willing, I don't. Hey, but guess what, man? I don't believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, if somebody know, I don't believe they give you the breakdown on the person's orientation, what sex, what practice they follow, and give you that blood, man. I don't think they give you the breakdown. I think they just give you blood, right? So this is a filthy, vile kingdom. Hey, like the Lord said in Nahum, let me go back to Nahum, the 3rd chapter. Actually, I want Nahum 3. Right? This is Nahum chapter 3 and verse 19. There is no healing of thy bruise. Talking about the Most High is not going to heal America after he destroyed them. Thy wound is grievous. All that hear the bruit of thee shall clap their hands over thee. All nations that hear destruction, that hear the destruction of America, they're going to clap their hands. Right? For upon some nations, they're going to be well America, but eventually, hey, they're going to clap their hands. Why? It says, for upon whom hath not thy wickedness passed continually? So your wickedness has passed upon all people continually. We are doing this work here at home and around the globe. So that's you spreading your wine. Where the alphabet community members are fighting for recognition of their fundamental human rights and seeking to live full lives free from hate-fueled violence and discrimination. So again, a proclamation on the alphabet, community, and Pride Month for 2024. Expect the month of June to be just out. It's like an outright lust and outright madness. Now, another thing going on in the earth, right? Now it says, the Lord said that there will be signs in the sky, paraphrasing. We're really the sun and the moon. But the Most High also said in the book of Luke, the 21st chapter, that you would have these strange sights. Now, this is from Marka, right? It says UFO captured in New York during Blue Angels air show. Now, this is some footage right here. When you check this out, man, I had to watch it a few times. Now, let me get this prophecy in Luke, the 21st chapter, right? You had this UFO, and again, you know, they're showing themselves more and more and more, right? They're showing themselves more and more on the earth. I want Luke 21, and I want to start at verse, I believe I want, here it is. I'll start at 10, but I really want 11. Luke chapter 21 and 10. Then said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, right? So like, bear with me. Bear with me. All right, Salakia. So let me pull this back up. And right, Luke 21. Salakia. Luke 21 and 11. And great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines, and pestilences, and fearful sights, and great signs shall there be from heaven. So you're going to see fearful sights and great signs. You're going to see them from heaven through the Spirit, right? Now, these fearful sights and great signs are going into eclipses. It's going into blood moons. It's going into what you call the devil's comet and what they call shooting stars. It's also going into what the chariots that you're going to see. And there's going to be an increase in chariot sightings, right? That you see throughout Babylon the Great. Now, here's the article, and I'm going to play the footage as well, right? UFO, and they're always changing the name of them. First, they were UAPs. Now, you know, they were, what is that? Unidentified aerial phenomena, UFOs, right? All of these names, they try to change them. These are the chariots of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Now, they did their Blue Angels air show, which are the elite, like entertaining jets. They fly them over the Yankees, you know, stadium, and, you know, a Wrigley Field, and, you know, with the MetLife and all of these different stadiums, man. You know, before a big game or, you know, a parade or whatever the case may be. Now, they're supposed to be, the Blue Angels are supposed to be the top pilots on the earth. So the Most High sent his pilot, which is the angel of the Most High. Now, these Blue Angels, they do tricks, they spin, you know, they do things. They're supposed to be, you know, the cream of the crop. So the Most High manifested his angel. He manifested his chariot, because the angels operate the chariots. So here's Esau's angels. And you should be thinking there's a few precepts that should come to mind. And here's Yahweh Shah's angels. And they're in the same realm. And eventually, these angels are going to fight against the Most High's angels. And I'm going to play that footage and get that precept after I read this one quick part. Right? So it says a suspected UFO was captured in the sky over New York last Friday. This is May 29th, right? A suspected UFO was reportedly captured by onlookers during a U.S. Navy's flight demonstration squadron show on Long Island, New York on Friday. Unidentified, and they know, they have identified them. We have identified them. Yahweh Hashem Shai has identified these vehicles as the angels or the chariots, Salakia, of the Most High, operated by the angels, right? Unidentified flying objects, better known as UFOs, are being increasingly captured in the skies and are captured due to the sophisticated nature of mobile phone cameras. Now, I'm going to play this footage, but bear with me, right? Bear with me. All right, so let's play this footage, right? I'm going to play this footage of this flight of this so-called UFO that was captured. I believe this is it right here. All right, now check this out. Now, they're going to play it a few times, but you got to kind of pay attention to this thing. So check this out.
Said it on Good Day Chicago 1,000 times. I want to
family by the end of the year to China.
I must have said it on Good Day Chicago 1,000 times. I want to believe another UFO has been spotted, this time in New York. You blink and you miss this one. TMZ captured the video. It lasts a nanosecond. An unidentified object whizzing across a clear blue sky. You slow this thing down, looks pretty legit. A Blue Angels demonstration was going on in Long Island. The object in question moves so fast, a lot faster than the plane, by the way. This is the second alleged UFO sighting in New York in recent.
See that? I'm gonna go back a little bit.
He captured the video. It lasts a nanosecond.
Blink, you'll miss it.
I want to believe another UFO has been spotted, this time in New York.
So that's definitely a chariot. All right, there's no explanation. You can't say
you blink and you miss this one. TMZ captured the video. It lasts a nanosecond. An unidentified.
It's a balloon. That was a bird. Birds don't move that fast. The way that thing was moving and the speed, it couldn't have been a balloon, a plane, a rocket. There's no explanation outside of going into the Bible, right? What did the Most High? I'm gonna go back to this footage, but I want to get this precept right in the book. I'm not gonna pull it up on the screen, right? But I'll just read it, right? And then I'll play that footage. So I'm gonna read this real quick. I'm not gonna pull it up on the screen, but this is Psalms chapter 104 and verse 3. Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the cloud his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. So this is speaking about the structure of the heavens. And the Most High said, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. So those vehicles that you call unidentified flying objects are really the chariots of God. You see that? And the Lord said they walketh upon the wings of the wind because they fly. They're aerial vehicles, right? These chariots don't walk on the earth. They walk in the wings of the wind. So there are vehicles, because a chariot in the ancient world is a vehicle, right? Now, let me, that was used in war. So what I'll do is, right? Let me just share the entire screen, right? So you had actual chariots that Pharaoh's horsemen had, or the Canaanites had. They had chariots of iron. But, Solomon had chariots. But then you have chariots that run in the sky. They walk upon the wings of the wind. They fly. That's what you call an unidentified flying object, or the world calls it a UFO. And see, I didn't check this out. It says world's largest UFO convention. So they got UFO conventions. Everybody's trying to figure this thing out, huh? What these vehicles are, what they're for. So they're showing them, or the Most High is showing them, because they work for the Most High. They have a commander. These are war vehicles. These aren't tourist attractions and commercial airlines and No, these are warlike vehicles. So by any means, they are operated by a general, a king, a leader of an army, a captain. So these are the fleet of chariots operated by Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua, right? And plenty of our forefathers saw these chariots, man. Some of our forefathers were taken up in these chariots. These are called the clouds of the Lord, right? Look at that one through the Spirit. Let's get another quick precept on that, right? Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 18, right? And verse, I'll start at 9. This is speaking about the return of Yahushua. Because when Yahushua returned to the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, how is he coming back? He's coming back in a chariot. That's what the angels told the apostles in Acts, the 1st chapter, right? So this is it's like your Psalms, chapter 18 and verse 9. He bowed the heavens also and came down, and darkness was under his feet. And he rode upon the cherub and did fly. Yea, he did fly upon the wings of the wind. So Psalms 18 and 10, it links directly up with Psalms chapter 104 and verse 3, where the Lord said, he walketh upon the wings of the wind in a chariot. So there's a vehicle that flies in the sky, that's in the wind. That same vehicle Yahushua rides upon. He's inside that chariot. He flies in this vehicle. And he flies upon the wings of the wind. So Yahushua has his own chariot. And the other angels, they also have chariots that they fly in. Right? Let's prove that. Let's go to Revelation, the first, Slakia. Well, that's the spirit. Revelation 1 and 7. Really wanted Acts 1. So this is Revelation chapter 1 and verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall well because of him, even so, amen. So when the Lord returns, he's coming back with a fleet of chariots, what you call UFOs, if you can understand. And is every eye going to see the chariots? Yes. The same way that when it's about to be a storm, every eye sees the clouds. Every eye can see the dark clouds as they thunder, as they lightning, and they cover the clear sky. That's the same way that the chariots are going to cover the earth, right? Or the firmament. Every eye is going to see the chariots in the return of Yahushua. And contrary to popular belief, the earth isn't going to be joyous to see the Lord. They're not going to be excited to see Yahushua. Otherwise, why would it say, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him, even so, amen. So when Yahushua returns, he's going to be coming back with so much killing, destruction, bloodshed, and violence that people are going to be screaming, plucking out their beard, running to and fro like blind men. And these chariots are going to come and disintegrate you. And the Lord said in 2nd Esdras, he can turn you to powder. It says, who will not be utterly beaten down to powder, man? So these chariots are going to turn people to damn dust and a smell of smoke. This is 2nd Esdras, right? Chapter 16 and verse 11. The Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence. So when the Lord returns, people are going to be zapped into powder, dust, right? You're just going to melt and just disintegrate. Poof. And you're finished, man. That's how Yahushua is returning. And the Lord said in Ezekiel, I believe that's the 22nd chapter, right? If I'm not mistaken. Let's get this in Ezekiel for sake of Ezekiel 22 and 20. It reads, Salakia, Ezekiel 22 and verse 20. As they gather silver and brass and iron and lead and tin into the midst of the furnace, to blow the fire upon it, to melt it, so will I gather you in mine anger and in my fury, and I will leave you there and melt you. So a melt is when you take a solid and turn it straight to a liquid, right? Straight up, huh? Like ice melts. The Most High is going to melt man, and your skin is going to melt off the bone, right? Like a nice piece of chicken, man. Where it just fall off the bone. You pick it up and it kind of just fall off. So your flesh is just going to fall off the bone. Your skin on your face is just going to show your skeleton and your skull as your skin melts off your body and falls to the earth, and your skull is there screaming and crying, and your skeletal structure remains, and then it's just beaten to powder, and it just turns into dust, man. And that's going to come by what? By the chariots. Because the chariots, they zap out those lasers and that lightning, man. Right? These vehicles that we just saw, they zap out lasers and lightnings. Let me get one or two more on that. Then I'm going to kind of move on. Let's go to Second Maccabees, right? Chapter 10. And I want to read verse 27. We'll get straight to the point. I'll start at 28. I'll start at 29, right? For sake of time. Second Maccabees, chapter 10 and 29. Here's the war between the Jews and the heathen. Now, in the midst of the war, let's see what happened. Second Maccabees, chapter 10 and 28. Check out this, what you call divine intervention. Now, the sun being newly risen, the second Maccabees 10 and 28, they joined both together. The one part having together with their virtue, their refuge also unto the Lord, for a pledge of the success and victory. The other side making their rage leader of the battle. But when the battle waxed strong, there appeared unto the enemies from heaven 5 comely men upon horses, with bridles of gold, and 2 of them led the Jews. So you had these 2 chariots that came and led the Jews. They came from the sky. A lot of our historians, they call them silver disc, flying shields. There's a lot of different names that nations use to describe the chariots. And this life, they're calling them unidentified aerial phenomena. They're calling them unidentified flying objects. Alexander the Greek, he saw the chariots as they destroyed the wall of Tyre and Zidon. And his war historian, he described it as a silver disc that came down and they shot lasers and destroyed the wall. Let me get that real quick, right? Let me see if I can get that very quickly, right? Alexander, the so-called great UFO encounter, right? Let's type in Tyre. Right, let's see. Now, check this out. The army of Alexander the Great in 329 BC, as they were crossing a river into India, saw 2 silver shields. That wasn't a jet or an airplane. You didn't have that back then. So these were the chariots. They saw 2 silver shields, meaning circular vehicles, like a disc, like a wheel in the midst of a wheel. Saw 2 silver shields in the sky that dove repeatedly on the military columns, causing panic. So they came down and caused panic so Alexander didn't march into India. So all of the horses, the elephants, they stopped moving because the Most High didn't want him to march that far into India. So the chariots, they come and they intervene and stop man from doing what man wants to do. Among other things, in 322 BC, when Alexander was besieging Tyre in Phoenicia, another flying shield moved in triangular formation with smaller shields approached. So they move like when you see birds, right? When birds fly, they fly in a triangular formation. That's a military formation. That's a heavenly formation. They call that the I can't think of the name of it, but the Greeks, the Spartans, a lot of them, they had that triangle on their shield, and they kind of moved in that same military formation because they got that from Israel, You have one lead bird. I believe they call it a phalanx or something of that nature. So the chariots, they move in that same military formation. Supposedly, the larger object shot beams of light at the city, shattering its walls and other defenses. Alexander's army quickly took advantage of the situation and seized the city. The objects then departed. So that's real history, man. They couldn't take the wall down, so the Most High sent these chariots down to zap the wall down so prophecy could be fulfilled. These shields, these are the same things or vehicles in 2nd Maccabees chapter 10, right? So you had two of them that led the Jews, these UFOs. 2nd Maccabees 10-30, and took Maccabeus betwixt them, and covered him on every side with their weapons, and kept him safe, but shot arrows and lightnings against the enemies, so that being confounded with blindness and full of trouble, they were killed. And there were slain of footmen 20,500 and 600 horsemen. So that's a massive slaughter. And the chariots covered Judas with a force field and shot lightnings out and killed their enemies. So again, you're going to see more and more chariot sightings. Let's go back to this. Right? More and more chariots. See that? And again, these are the so-called white man's blue angels, his jets. And here's Yahweh Bashmer Shai's angels that operate in these vehicles. Now, eventually, they're going to wage war one against another. That's Revelation chapter 12. Let me get that real quick. So the Most High is showing you that war will be in heaven. Revelation chapter 12:7. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought in his angels. So you're going to have war with the chariots and the angels of God in the heavens. And then you're going to have Esau and his angels, his blue angels, which those aren't really war, vehicles, but he has objects that fly in the sky, pilots and jets and F-32s and stealth bombers and, UAPs, UAVs. Those are his different vehicles. And eventually they're going to do what? They're going to meet head to head. And there's going to be a massive slaughter for Esau and his vehicles. Just look at the chariot, man. The chariot is aerodynamic. It can, again, like we always say, it can split into multiple chariots. It can expand. It can condense and shrink itself. It can turn invisible. It can stop at the drop of a dime. A jet can't stop at the drop of a dime and just float in the air. They have to constantly be in motion. A jet runs on fuel. Chariots, they don't run on fuel. So this is going to be a massive slaughter when these chariots wreak their havoc on the earth. Look how fast it's moving. Damn panda. See that? Just appeared out of nowhere. See that? And then it turns invisible. See that? So there's nothing you can do about that. How can you fight something like that? You can't shoot it. You can't lock in on it. We got to lock in on it and shoot the heat-seeking missile. There's nothing you can do about the chariots, man. Esau, you're finished. There's no weaponry. There's no technology. There's nothing that you're going to be able to do to fight against the chariots of Israel and the horsemen thereof, right? Now, what else is going on in the earth? You got chariot sightings. You got a wicked sodomite month going on. You also have, let me pull this up, so-called Biden. You have war drums in the earth, right? Biden and this guy, he's leading Babylon the Great to hell. He is the worst, by far, president to ever be on the earth. He's a child molester. He's an unregistered sex offender. He's a pedophile. He's a creep. He's a demon. We don't even know if this is the real Joe Biden. There's compilations of videos and footage of men with masks on and his damn face lifting up and pulling his mask back down. He's falling asleep. He's riding his bike. He's falling off the plane. He's asleep in the middle of a press conference. He don't know what to say, when to say it. He's done. He's finished. And he's leading the world rather to World War III. Now check this out. Biden secretly gave Ukraine permission to strike inside of Russia with U.S. arms, political reports. And this is all over. So what are they asking? They're asking for war. They say, here's weapons that we're going to give you. Take these weapons and aim them inside of Russia. I mean, even in today's society, if you have a gun that's registered and, let's say Joe Bob's name, and you have that gun, you shoot, commit a robbery, self-defense, guess what? You fire that gun off, that gun, yeah, you're going to get charged. Things are going to happen to you. But guess who's really going to get pulled up too? Whoever's gun that is. Right? And they're going to be coming after that guy too. And he's going to have to be, dealt with as well. You can't take, you going to a war with somebody. You got somebody giving this person weapons over and over and over again to break you down. Eventually, you're going to do something about that guy. Right? So this thing is heating up, man. And again, Russia, they're going to do something about it. Not because I said so, because the Most High said so. Right? Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 50. This is Jeremiah chapter 50, right? I mean, this whole thing is good, man. Right? Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 21. Go up against the land of Merathaim, even against it, and against the inhabitants of Pekod. These are different names for Babylon the Great, different titles, right? When you look this up, Jeremiah gives different titles based off of the characteristics of America, right? So this says Merathaim, meaning double rebellion, another name for Babylon. A lot of times you may read Jeremiah and see these different names and think it's talking about so many different places, but they're really different titles for America. Why are they called double rebellion? Because they rebelled as ancient Babylon and they're back on the earth as Babylon the Great, rebelling against the Most High. They're going to receive a double portion for what they have done. That's what the Most High said. Go up against Merathaim, right? And who is he talking to these other nations? Right? So it's an epithet of Babylon. Another name for Babylon that he's telling Russia, China, and these other nations to go up against is Pekod, right? And it says visitation, a people in the Babylonian army. And we pulled up the transformers that are in the Babylonian army. So a people in the Babylonian army in the tribe in southeast Babylonia bordering Elam. So again, a symbolic name for Babylon. Jeremiah 51, although ancient Babylon was destroyed. And yeah, Jeremiah did prophesy against ancient Babylon. But this Merathaim Pekod is really saying destroy America. Babylon the Great. Double rebellion. It is the time of her visitation. It reads, waste and utterly destroy after them, saith Yahweh, and do according to all that I have commanded thee. A sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. Right? So you have a sound of battle in the earth. This is what you call the proverbial war drums. When you have one nation, they play chess and they make a move. Another nation, they play chess, they make a move. They test a bomb. This nation tests a bomb. They do war games. That's the sound of battle in the earth right now. Between Russia, America, NATO, Ukraine, China, Israel, Hezbollah, Palestine. Rafah, Egypt. And the world is slowly but surely being pulled into World War III. And on social media, World War III has been trending every day. Every day for about the past, I would like to say 10 days to 14 days, you have had World War III trending. And some people don't know why it's trending, and some people, they do. The Most High is letting you know that the sound of battles in the land, it's not a time of peace. It's not a time of love. It's not a time of mirth, man. Right? The Lord said in Ezekiel chapter 21, a sword is sharpened, should we then make mirth? This is the book of Ezekiel chapter 21 and verse 10. It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. That's the sword of the Lord. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth? It contemneth the rod of my son as every tree. Yeah, should we be worried about who's going to win the Super Bowl? Who's going to win the championship? The rap beef, the madness of the earth, the folly and the summer festivity, what do they call it? The festivities. Should we be smoking weed, man, kicking our feet up? Should we be acting as if you have 300 more years, 50 more years in America? Are we in a time of mirth? No. The Lord told Ezekiel, take the book or the roll and eat it. And within were written lamentations, mourning, and woe. The Lord told John, eat it. It's going to be in thy mouth sweet as honey, but it shall make thy belly bitter. You see that? So this is a bitter time that you're living in, of war and bloodshed, man. And not only that, not only did Biden secretly give Ukraine permission to strike inside Russia with U.S. arms, right? And I'm going to read one of these, then I'm going to jump around. I'm going to show you what else is going on in the earth. Right? So this is May 30th. U.S. President, zoom in a little bit, Joe Biden has secretly given Ukraine permission to strike inside Russia, solely near the area of Kharkiv with American weapons. Politico reported on Thursday, citing a U.S. official and two other people familiar with the plan. The president recently directed his team to ensure that Ukraine is able to use weapons or U.S. weapons for counterfire purposes and Kharkiv, so Ukraine can hit back at Russian forces, hitting them or preparing to hit them. Politico reported, citing a U.S. official who added that the policy of allowing long-range strikes inside Russia has not changed. So again, with World War III, like we always say, it's not a matter of if it's going to happen. It's a matter of when it's going to happen. How soon is it going to happen? Has it happened already yet? Because at this rate and at the pace that Babylon the Great is moving in, they're pulling all of NATO into a global conflict. And right now you have Russia and China. Let me pull this up. They actually came out and said, hey, look, we're brothers, man. Right? They actually came out and said that. They said that Russia and Chinese are brothers in arms, brothers forever. So they damn brothers, man. When's the last time you heard two nations say, hey, look, we brothers? So that they mean business, man. They mean business, right? They say we are brothers forever. So there's nothing that you're going to be able to do about this, man. Right? China, Russian, Chinese are brothers forever. So this society's finished, man. You don't even name, they're more there's not even really a formal military pact or alliance. You have political, like the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, right? And BRICS and things of that nature. But there's not even a formal military alliance between Russia and China per se, right? They have geopolitical things, and what the case may be, but they're more united than NATO. They're more united than these Edomites of the West. Because although you have Ukraine being backed up by America, a lot of NATO countries don't agree with that, right? They don't agree with that, right? Let's go to the book of Daniel, right? The classic, right? Daniel, the second chapter, concerning what? The 10 toes that are divided. This is Daniel chapter 2 and verse 33. His legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. So remember, Daniel saw a statue that represented 4 major kingdoms: the Babylonian Empire, the Medo-Persian Empire, the Greek Empire, and the Roman Empire. Now, the Roman Empire has been revived back on the earth as Babylon the Great, America, with their counterparts, the Western European nations, NATO and the EU. America represents the feet, or really NATO and the EU. They are the feet of iron and part of clay. They have the strength of the Roman Empire, right? They have the military weapons. They have the budget spending, but they're part of clay because of their political structure is so weak. They're so divided compared to the gold-like political sovereignty of Nebuchadnezzar, who had a unified kingdom without any strife or adversity. There was no civil war, and there was no bucking up against Nebuchadnezzar. He himself was a god. So his sovereignty and political structure was highly valued and supreme, to the point where the Most High gave it gold, or a gold-like status. The West in America, they have a clay-like status because they are so far beneath. They're not even close to the sovereignty that Nebuchadnezzar had. We can go on and on how divided it is. You have 50 states, and they have their own laws and legislation. Every country in the West have their own laws and legislation. They have their own rulers. They're butting heads. They're fighting, right? So you have nothing but strife and confusion with this part of iron and part of clay kingdom. Right now you have, let me pull this up. France. France is getting down with this. France provokes Putin. Despite warning, NATO nation sends troops to Ukraine to train Kiev soldiers. So this is getting big. So guess what? If a few NATO troops get bombed, or France, which are NATO troops, right? Then a lot of these countries, they're going to have to get involved. Now, I could be wrong. See how much time I got. I don't see all NATO countries, because the Most High speaks about them being divided, all being of one accord during the time of World War III. You're going to have a few here and there. But you got a lot of countries that are like, hey, look, man, we don't want war with Russia. They're getting on France, and they're telling France, what the hell are you doing? What the hell are you trying to do here, man? And this dude, Macron, he's always starting stuff, man. He's like Biden in Europe. He always got something to prove. You know? So he's a damn fool, and he's going to lead them to war along with Biden. Right? So he's sending his soldiers to train the enemy of Russia. Now, this is from an hour ago. Now, you have other European countries. Hungary. So this is from AP News, right? Hungary's Orban pushes back. It's like on EU and NATO proposal to further assist Ukraine. So they say, hey, look, man, y'all are moving too fast. We don't want war with Russia. Now they might opt out. They might say, look, we don't want to be part of NATO anymore. Let y'all handle that war. And the Lord said in Sirach, the 8th chapter, the Lord speaks about traveling with a proud man, right? Because he's going to do what he wants to do. France is being a proud man right now, right? America, they're being a proud man right now. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 8. I believe this is what I want. And verse 15. right? Sirach chapter 8 and 15. Travel not by the way with a bold fellow, lest he become grievous unto thee. For he will do according to his own will, and thou shalt perish with him through his folly. And you travel with somebody that's bold, they like to start fights, they argumentative, you're going to end up in a fight. You're going to end up in jail. He got a hot temper, he murdered somebody, you right there with him, you're an accomplice, you going to prison too. You can't travel with a bold man because he can't take correction. You're going to be caught up with him. A lot of these European nations, they are the bold fellow. Babylon the Great, they are a bold fellow. And they're becoming grievous to Hungary. They're becoming grievous to Spain. They're becoming grievous to a lot of these European countries, man. And a lot of these European countries, they don't want to perish with America and France and their folly. Right? They don't want to go down in history as being destroyed, man. So a lot of them, they're going to separate, you know, and they're going to do their own thing. So he's coming out and he says, hey, look, let's cut this thing out. Right? It says Hungarians, May 31st, right? Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban on Friday pushed back at some NATO proposals that would allow Ukraine to use Western weapons to strike targets within Russia, saying that such plans have Europe inching closer to destruction. You see that? So he sees it, man. The nationalist leader has long opposed Western countries supplying Ukraine with military aid and threatened to derail European Union financial support to Kiev and the passing of sanctions against Moscow. Right? So this is a big deal right here, man. This is a big deal. Hungary, they say y'all need to, relax. You need to chill out. France, they say we don't care what the hell you're talking about, Hungary. Babylon the Great says, hey, look, man, somebody tell us what not to do. And we're going to show you our power. So everybody, they're talking that talk, man. Everybody's talking that talk. But eventually, it's going to lead to World War III. Everybody doing a lot of talking, right? And you even had, and now Turkey, last time I checked, Turkey was part of NATO. Now, you got some countries like America, right? Great Britain, they are for the state of Israel. They fund the state of Israel with billions of dollars every year to commit genocide for military defense, child trafficking, and whatever sin and lust and murder that they want to do. Britain and America are part of NATO. Turkey is also part of NATO. Surely they should have the same mind. Surely their enemies should be each other's enemies. But why do you have Turkey kind of bucking up? Turkey, now this is not as recent, but it's still relevant, right? Turkey's Erdogan calls for Islamic world to unite against Israel's tyranny. Right now, this is from a while ago, but this is still that same spirit. Because you have a Turkey, mainly Turkey is a Islamic nation. So they're going to feel the effect of a lot of the Muslim countries around them, right? So they're part of the Islamic or the organization of the Islamic Corporation. And eventually, we always say, Turkey may break off from NATO, right? If you look up the Turkey-NATO relations, they've been a member of NATO, but a lot of times they don't see eye to eye with NATO due to how these Edomites be moving, right? So you got Turkey. Like this article, what is this one? It says Turkey walking the tightrope between NATO, Russia, and Ukraine. Right? So, they're conflicted within themselves. And it's part of these 10 toes being divided through the spirit. So nevertheless, here's another one. Spain, Ireland, Norway recognize a Palestinian state. What comes next? So they're all divided. Spain, they say we want a Palestinian state. Israel, America, Britain, they say no, we don't. So, Spain is part of NATO. The Lord said in Matthew, the 12th chapter, that a house divided against itself, shall not stand. This is Matthew chapter 12 and verse 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. Right? So you're going to have this tension between these European countries and NATO. Right? You also have, for sake of time, I want to try to speed through these. What else is going on in the earth? So you have World War III, you got chariot sightings, right? You have madness going on in the earth with sodomite months. But it says supermarkets warned against panic buying over quote unquote Project Fear push for Brits to stockpile 3 days worth of food. So they know war is coming. We read that the sound of battles in the land. And this spirit may come to America. We need everyone to stock 3 days worth of food. You need food for what? 72 hours in case war kicks off. The economy collapses. Bombs begin to drop. So everybody's saying, hey, look, man, a lot of people are panic buying. Panic buying is when you buy things in a superfluous amount, in a massive abundance, because you may think that you're not going to have the ability to get that food anymore. So why are these people panic buying? Because they can smell World War III. They can smell strife amongst the nations. They know they don't know Jeremiah 50 and 25. But here's the Lord said he has opened his armory. And Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 25. Right? Jeremiah 50 and 25. Yahweh hath opened his armory and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord of hosts and the land of the Chaldeans. So in the armory, you have battle axes. An armory holds weapons, right? It's a storage facility, house, whatever the case may be, that holds weapons, battle axes, daggers, swords, bucklers, shields, whatever weapon. You open up your armory, you kind of look around and say, I'll take this, I'll take this. People have armories now with guns and ammunition and, all types of guns and, rocket launchers, pistols, rifles. People have armories now. Guess who has an armory? The Most High. So the Most High is not a nice guy. Why would a nice guy have an armory? How can a God that loves everybody has an armory? Why does he have a storehouse of weapons? If the Lord just loves and he kisses everybody on the cheek and Jesus loves the little children, how could this be, man? So the word armory, it says a magazine of weapons. Not just one little butter knife. When you're really into something like cars, you collect a lot of cars. You like old cars, you like new cars, you like luxury cars, you like, whatever. You like the tech cars. People that have shoes, they open up a closet of shoes. They may have Jordans, they may have dress shoes, they may have these shoes, they may have this, that. The Most High, he has a lot of weapons. He's into weapons. He has missiles. The people are his weapons. The angels are his weapons. The chariots are his weapons. Grenades are his weapons. The Most High made the bullet, man. The bullet is his weapon, and he has an armory. He looks at all of the weapons that he has. So, people know that war is brewing up. Where is this at? Supermarkets warn against panic buying over Project Fear push for Brits to stockpile 3 days worth of food. See that? in case of an emergency. Keep tinned food. The government launched a website telling people to keep tinned food, right, and bottled water in case of an emergency. The emergency kits people should keep at home includes wind-up torches, at least 3 liters of bottled water, and food that doesn't need cooking, such as tinned meat or vegetables. But retailers have warned shoppers should build up supplies over time rather than go to the supermarket and stock up all at once. So, people, this is a big deal. This is the prepare campaign they're saying. How would you prepare for an emergency? Why are they putting this out there? What do they know that's coming to pass? What are they hiding from the people? Why aren't they just putting it out black and white? Get prepared for emergencies. There are simple and effective steps you can take to be more prepared. If an emergency did happen in your area, how would you manage? What about your relatives, friends, neighbors, or colleagues? Do you know anyone who might need some extra help or support? So, the society is on the brink of collapse. Thermonuclear holocaust, economic collapses, immorals, indecency, lack of ethics and integrity, sodomy, freakism, war. How can you not know that you're living in the end of the world? You even have the pestilence on the earth. As avian flu outbreaks spread around the world, experts weigh in on the risk of a future, pandemic and how the world can prepare. You see that? So pandemic means all the people. Pan meaning all, dem meaning people, like democracy or democratic, right? You have an epidemic, which is more kind of local, epi meaning outside. Then a pandemic means all people are affected. That's what they're talking about. How can the world, not a country, how can the world prepare? Look at this. Right? And people are catching this. And they may start locking down countries, states, man. Yahushua said that you have pestilence in the earth in Matthew the 24th chapter. Right? This is Matthew chapter 2. And then Yahushua also said through Ezra that a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Matthew 24:7. For a nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. So you're going to have widespread pestilence on the earth. And that is a major sign of the end of the world. A plague, a pest, right? So it's a plague. A pestilence is something caused by a pest. It could be rats, mice, chickens, roaches, right? Anything that's going to bring about disease. So therefore, you have this spreading around the world, right? Now, what they're saying is Australia may shut down. Australia is like a social experiment for the elites. A lot of things happen in Australia first. So they're building this thing up. Every week, more and more people are being infected by the avian flu. And it's spreading throughout the world. It's getting so bad that, let me pull this up. That more than 4 million chickens had to be killed in Iowa. That means obviously you're not going to have meat. And now they're going to say, well, cows are being affected. Swine are being affected. Then meats are going to be scarce. Then the price of meats are going to be at an all-time high. Your local food distribution centers, you're not going to receive meats from local vendors, right? Or commercial vendors, which means you're not going to go to your local grocery stores, which means you're not going to be able to have them from the trucks. Because guess what? They had to kill 4.2 million. Million is an exponential amount in Iowa. And this thing may keep going and going and going and going and going, man. Right? So things are heating up on the earth. War, pestilence, destruction, mayhem, chariot sightings. Right? Let's go to the book of Matthew, the 24th chapter. Let's stay in this same chapter. Right? Let's go to Matthew 24 and 44. Matthew 24 and 44. It reads, this whole thing is good. I'll start at 42. Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known and would watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. A lot of brothers, your house is going to get broken up because you don't know what's going on, man. A lot of what we're going into is new to you. And just being, transparent, it really shouldn't be new to you because you should have already known this because you were already watching. This should be old information, right? This should be something that, hey, look, I've seen that already because you're watching. You're standing on top of this. You don't have to wait to live to see the prophecies going on. That's what a question of the live is. Are you watching? Are you seeing what's going on in war? Are you seeing what's going on with the chariots? Are you seeing what's going on with the signs? Are you reading the prophecies and seeing the prophecies play out on the earth? Matthew 24, Luke 21, Mark the 13th chapter, right? Second Ezra, the 5th chapter, Second Ezra, the 9th chapter, the 6th chapter, the 7th chapter, 15, 16, Revelation, right? Certain prophecies. Are you watching them in Jeremiah? Are you seeing them unfold? Or are you just falling asleep? So when all hell break loose, you had no idea that things were as bad as they are. And your house is going to get all broken up, man. And you're going to be destroyed. The Lord said in verse 44, therefore be ye also ready. And what's the famous saying? They say stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Right? You're always ready. You're praying, you're watching, you're keeping the commandments, you're studying, you're fasting, you're looking at the prophecies, geopolitics, diplomatic affairs, foreign affairs, local events, wars, right? Things being passed, laws and legislation behind the scenes. You're not caught up in the distractions of the media, the sports entertainment industry, and the world that wants to take your vision and focus away from the judgments on hand. That's what the Most High says, therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh. And with that, we're going to close up, giving, of course, all honor and all glory to Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach wa Malak Yahushai. Most High willing you are edified. Keep the Sabbath holy. No buying, no selling, no sex on the Sabbath, no speaking your own words, no doing your own pleasures. Do this work, get into these scriptures, cease from your labor, and call upon the name of Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach wa Malak Yahushai. Most High willing you are edified. Kwam Yashah. Shalom.